Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Joni Ogg, and on behalf of TravelProfessionalNews.com, HomeBasedTravelAgent.com, and FindAHostTravelAgency.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Now, our host today is Passport Online, Inc., and we're joined today by two presenters, Richard DAmbrosio and Christina Lynch. And Richard is the co-founder of Travel Business Mastermind, and Christina is a senior manager at Passport Online. So I'm going to introduce Richard first because Richard is going to go ahead then later and introduce Christina. So let me just tell you a little bit about Richard. He is a master storyteller, and he's helped hundreds of travel advisors, entrepreneurs, and brands such as American Express, Flight Center USA, Virgin Atlantic Airways, Thomas Cook Travel. All these folks grow their brands and sales through marketing and sales coaching. And Richard has a passion for helping small businesses find their voice and tell their story to attract ideal clients. Now, today's webinar topic is 3 easy steps to power up your marketing now. And I love that. 3 easy steps sounds good to me. One very lucky attendee is going to win a free scholarship, which is valued at $147 to the live storytelling class that Richard DAmbrosio will be teaching July 14th and the 21st. So be sure to listen really carefully for your chance to win. We'll be doing the prize at the end of the presentations. Additionally, we're going to be sharing a coupon code for more amazing discounts on some of his training programs. And again, we'll share that at the end of the session. So remember that all of you are muted, but we do welcome your questions. And you can type them in at any time in the question area that you see on the right side of your screen. And when the presentation is all over with, we're going to take as many questions as we can. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Richard. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you so much, Joni. Thank you, Travel Professional News, and thank you, Passport Online, for collaborating with Joni and her team, Andy, to have us presenting today. Just wanted to, do a quick introduction for everybody, and of course, that's when the advance. Hold on a second. For some reason, we're not getting the advance on the slide. So I'm just going to revert to, we've been having computer issues
There
this
you
morning.
go. It's there, Richard.
Okay.
Cool.
So the very lovely Christina Lynch and I share a passion for great content. We know that travel advisors are always thinking that they've got to bring in new sales leads. And one of the easiest ways for you to do that is to do something that's powerful and attractive enough through your social, through your website, that you're making the right impression on the right client. How are you, Christina, out in the Portland, Oregon area?
I'm so good. We've got some nice, beautiful, sunny weather today here. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Christina, like I, is also a passionate parent. Your son is how old?
He's 2, a terrible but adorable 2.
He's adorable. I absolutely love the smile on that child. Christina, how long have you been working in content management?
So I've been with Passport Online for 7 years. So I've always, had a part of the content part of it. More recently, I was promoted to senior manager. So now I'm a little bit more control of all of our content. So I have a small team working under me that I couldn't do so much without. So I'm very happy to have them working here too. But yeah, I've been here for almost 8 years now, I think.
That is a ton of experience, ladies and gentlemen. And I had the privilege of presenting with Christina to a group of travel advisors virtually last spring when COVID hit. So I just love working with this lady.
Definitely.
Our agenda is very simple. First, we want to start with a little bit of encouragement because the industry is picking back up. If your phone is not ringing yet, or it's only ringing a little bit, if your email isn't buzzing yet, if your lead forms aren't filling up completely, don't worry. What we can see in the trends, we'll just briefly go over those. We are finally making our way back. We're going to talk about those 3 easy steps that Joni referenced. We're going to keep it simple. The concepts are complex, but we're going to keep it simple today. And then finally, we'll hopefully have time for Q&A. So the numbers that you're seeing on the screen right now are from the Airlines Reporting Corporation. That's the top line and the two bottom lines. And what ARC tracks is the airline volume booked by these three different channels. So the top is the online travel agencies, whether you like them or love them. They are a representative of what the consumer's doing. And right now, they're at about 90% of the volume that they had in 2019. You, the leisure travel agency community, you guys finally dropped below 40%. You had been hovering around 40% for a couple of weeks, and we're steadily holding on to that. That means that you're doing about 62% of your 2019 airline transaction volume. And then, as we all know, business travel is really just starting to creep back. That other hash line shows you the TSA boardings on a weekly average basis. And as it shows, we are about 60 some odd percent of the way, or 71% of the way back. So we know travel is back. And again, my computer is acting up. Okay, so we also see through Christina that Passport Online is seeing an increase, right, Christina?
Yeah, that's right. So let me give you a little bit background information as far as where these numbers were coming from. So as Passport Online, we have a few different products that we offer to travel agents, and a few of those products all have to do with website solutions. And part of those website solutions that we offer is a destinations page. So the destinations page actually has a few different destinations as part of it. So it's kind of a whole program we have put together. And we've seen some really promising numbers within the first 5 months. In comparison to the first 5 months of 2019. So these are the click-through rates through those destination pages on our thousands of travel agents' websites. So we're really seeing a positive trend as far as those consumers' behavior and how they're actually going through to find additional information about destinations. So it's really exciting. Sounds like it's exciting enough even for the dogs too. So we're really looking forward to seeing that continue to go up and really be a good indicator for travel agents as far as their consumers' behavior.
I'm terribly sorry about that. I'm babysitting my daughter's rescue dog while she's away on vacation. So, I mean, this really is 17%. People are clicking through because they want to see where they can go next. So we're now going to start the meat of the presentation. And one of the things that Christina and I talk about all the time when we speak to travel advisors is that getting to cut through that clutter of who out there might want to book with you, what might they want to book, very often depends, and you guys hear this all the time when you go to industry conferences. You know, figure out your niche, do some niche marketing. And what that basically means is think about, you know, which suppliers and destinations mean the most to you. And I talk about this all the time in storytelling, because what happens is when you narrow your focus, you get more out of your day. Your day is limited to a certain number of hours. You cannot create more hours in your day. So if you're narrowing your focus and you're creating content or curating content from a product like Passport Online, guess what? Narrowing your focus means you're going to be more efficient. The same thing happens to your cash flow. When you narrow your focus, you get the most out of your cash flow, because if you're spending money on fam trips, then you're taking fam trips that are related to hopefully your niche. Similarly, if you're creating content, you're curating content that's key to your niche. And what we want you to take away from today as the number one thing is really start to figure out what are the things you love and most passionate about selling. Because there really are so many places and there's only so much time in the day to work with them all, right? We've got social media, email, your website. Good gracious, now our smartphones are the places where people are texting us, you know, booking information, or I saw you on the web and I saw your phone number and I texted you instead of emailing you. There's so many places for you to have content and be communicating that if you have a more narrowed focus, then you know what? You don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to track everybody's content out there and see which supplier's got the best photos of a beach. You don't have to worry about how many itineraries you have for different cruise lines if you're going to use them on your website. That allows you to do a little bit more effectiveness in everything that you do. Now, the thing is, what we ask you to do is don't just toss out the baby with the bathwater. We want you to at least take some kind of baseline so you can figure out where you want to focus. So for example, quite a few of my clients get more real traction out of their website and their email than they do social. And the reason of the ability that we have to figure that out is because we can look at our metrics. We can look, for example, at our website, Google Analytics, or if you're using another tool like Hootsuite, or I mean, there are, you know, WordPress will even give you some basic information about your page views. Well, if you're seeing that converting to sales leads and it's more effective than social, then maybe you want to put more attention to your website. Similarly, Facebook and Instagram have Facebook Insights. Do you see what people click on the most? And if you know that, then maybe you don't need to post every single day. You just need to post the kinds of posts that gain you the most engagement. And you should also always be looking at your email reporting. I use both HubSpot and Constant Contact, and other than creating emails there, the most time that I spend in my email host is in my reporting. I want to know what my open rates are, what my click-through rates are. I want to compare with Google Analytics. Is that right? Or is that particular email driving the bulk of the people showing up at my website on that destination page, thankfully provided to us by Passport Online, so that I know what that sales funnel is doing? Similarly, we also want you to get aligned around, like I said, your destinations, your partners and suppliers. This doesn't mean that you narrow down only to those destinations and partners and suppliers, but that you try to understand, like the 80-20 rule. Is there 20% of your business, or 80% of your business coming from 20% of the companies and destinations you work with? If you have a CRM and you're able to look at a year or two's worth of data and say, wow, look at that. I am heavily Caribbean, but I'm mostly Barbados, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. Okay, well, now you've got your 3 Caribbean destinations. If you're gonna go get content, you also wanna heavy up on that and not have all of these other destinations that probably aren't motivating your clients to book, because if you've been doing that for 2 years and they're not doing it, guess what? That's not gonna change. Similarly, think about your partners, your supplier partners. I have a client of mine who almost exclusively does Crystal, Regent, and Seabourn. If they get a request for Carnival, or if they get requests for the discounted cabins on Norwegian and RCL, they really don't want that. That's not their focus. They don't know that product that well. And most of their clients are looking for these particular cruise lines and these particular experiences. When you get aligned with who your clients are buying from, if that can sustain your cash flow, narrow your focus. Similarly, you've got to take a look at what percentage of your business should be coming from those other prospects outside your focus, because it may be that those clients that are booking a cruise line that's not Seabourn or Regent or Crystal, that while they may only be 20% of your transactions, they may be taking up 40% of your time. So yes, if you can accept them and it doesn't hurt your efficiency and it doesn't hurt your cash flow, then you continue to include them in the mix. But if you start to see something outside your focus taking away from the rest of your business, taking away from the time that you're doing marketing and selling using a tool like Passport Online, then you know what? You might want to take a look at whether or not you're really aligned with what your cash flow needs are. And then finally, we really want you to think about content that maximizes your profitability. So as you start to look at what are you going to be putting on Facebook and Instagram next month? What is your email newsletter going to focus on? Don't just think about the wide world of travel. If you were over 3 or 6 months to get aligned with a handful of partners and suppliers and double down on them, think about the commissions on those sales and whether or not that would maximize your profitability. So again, simplify your life, get aligned with who you love selling, and if your clients are attracted to that passion that you have, then double down on it. So, this is the way it might look if you were having an Excel spreadsheet, a simple, income statement that said, well, this is where all of my income comes from. It's, I've got 300 existing clients. I get about 10 new prospects a month. My ideal client makes up about 10% of that. My average client is 90%. If you looked at those numbers and you started to understand it, you might understand why in 2020, you did, an income that really didn't generate a lot of income. Maybe you weren't able to pivot to more Caribbean and Mexico when it was open. Maybe you didn't know how to really sell US land. So what you do is you start to, analyze the problems that you're having and say to yourself, does it have to be that way? Or if I was to get more aligned with products I can sell and products that I'm passionate about and really work on that particular ideal client and those destinations and partners, might I be able to take back control? So for example, what if for 2021, you were shifting Caribbean land a little bit? You were really going to work on your Mexico land. Hawaii's reopened. You're going to triple your Hawaii business. And a little bit of it is going to come out of your US land from last year because people can travel again. Well, if you changed up your mix and you aspired to a higher average transaction, so your old plan, for example, your Caribbean average ideal client was $5,500 per booking, but this year you were able to figure out how to sell a higher cabin, a higher room category, and it got you an extra $1,000 per transaction. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to talk about an income that might get you back to, being able to pay the bills. So you're aligned. You're aligning with your suppliers and partners. The content follows with it, but you still got to produce that content. Please don't go it alone. I hear it all the time from my travel advisor clients. Oh my goodness, creating content is the most difficult part of my job. I don't know what to post. And it takes so long for me to post something, and it's really troublesome. Well, guess what? There are people out there, whether it's a supplier that's got really good content up on their travel advisor portal, Passport Online, who's curating all of this stuff, tracking it for you, and trying to guide you to content that works for you. Well, if you start to mix together authentic content from you with some of your outsourcers like Passport Online, now that's a recipe for success. And in fact, Travel Business Mastermind, my consulting business, we surveyed 381 travel advisors back in late fourth quarter of last year, early January of this year. About 59% of them were in the industry 10 years or more. Another 17% were in the industry for about 5 to 10 years. It was a very detailed analysis, 50 questions. And guess what? When we asked them, what makes up the bulk of your social media newsfeed? It was a pretty close tie between my content and my supplier's content. Destinations right behind it. But guess what? When we asked them if you could guesstimate what generates the most engagement and potential sales leads, my content moves further away from suppliers and destinations. And what that tells you is that while your suppliers and destinations may have gorgeous photos and some great drone video footage, what we all know is when you put your personal spin on it, when you customize and make it more authentic to you and that alignment you have with your passion, you have greater potential to get people paying attention to your social and hopefully starting to fall in love and trust you that they want to book travel with you. So here's a great example of how content isn't always engaging until you make it more engaging. So this is, I, took this screen grab. Oh my goodness, it's almost 2 years ago that I did this. Norwegian Cruise Line's Instagram feed. And when I present this live, I ask the audience, out of these 9 photos, which photo do you think has a combination of the most likes, right? On Instagram, where we can click on it, like it, and it puts a little heart symbol out there, and comments. So which photo has the most of both of those put together? And what a lot of people do is they go, well, that ship is really beautiful. Yeah, the ships are beautiful, and oh, they get a lot of comments and likes. And you know what? Pictures of the island where people get to party is also very engaging, but it's actually one of the middle column pictures. Now, you could be sleeping on a hammock on this beautiful beach while your cruise ship is docked at the pier. You could be zip lining through that wonderful water park that they've created. Or you could be holding an ice cold latte. Which one do you think has the most engagement? Look at that. 155 comments on a picture. A hand holding an ice latte with the rest of the cruise ship there in the background and that beautiful blue ocean. And there's a reason why. Because while those other pictures are gorgeous, the picture where there's a hand and something very common to all of us, we can all go to our favorite local coffee shop or the local Starbucks and know what the feeling and the taste of an iced latte is. And that's why that resonates so much, because Norwegian knows that when you, the travel advisor, or they, can really make it feel like the customer is in the picture, now their content comes to life. And there's many ways you can do that, and Christina is going to take you through some ideas about the most popular posts that Passport Online has had. But first, she wants to tell you a little bit about the product.
Thanks, Richard. So I wanted to talk first a little bit about our website products and what we're talking about when we say that you need to be able to narrow your focus and make sure you have the control over it. So we have so much content available for you. We have over 65 supplier partners, and what that means when we look at all of the itineraries available, the departures, and the consortia exclusives, you can see how many thousands of things we have available to put at your customers' fingertips. But even more important than that, so yes, we have everything they could be looking for, but also we put the control in your hands. So even if it's not us that you're considering, and I really hope it is, but even if it's not, make sure that whatever content you're getting, whichever company that you're going through, that you have the power to be able to do things like filter your suppliers so that you're only showing the suppliers that you want to sell, that you're able to create lists of itineraries that you are most wanting to put in front of your clients, so you can narrow your focus and make it super easy. So we'll give you kind of the big pool to look at, and you can pick and choose from it using our tools in order to show exactly what you want to highlight to your customers. And we have really easy tools to do that with our website program. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about our social media product. Richard, would you mind going to the next page? Thank you. So we also have, in addition to website products that gives you all the content from our suppliers available, we also have a social media product that has a few different pieces to it. So the next 2 slides that we're going to be looking at here are giving actual examples from within the first 4 months of this year of the most viewed posts. So these are actually posts that went out through our ESP product. Now, the 2 kind of different pieces to the ESP product are the automated posts that go through to your Facebook business page. So these are set up to go automatically. So you get to set it up and kind of leave it if you wanted to at the very kind of base of it. And that's, again, all of that content that you have available to you. But keep in mind that we do always want to also give you control. So we'll post those or queue those up in your account ahead of time. So you'll have at least a few days to be able to see what's going out the next week before they actually post. you'll be able to go through and actually block any posts that you feel like don't align with what your product is. But just to give you an example, here are the two that had the most views within the first 4 months. And we're always going to be trying to post things that are either going to be really engaging for your clients. So for example, kind of thought-provoking questions, or for example, on the right-hand side here, more of like a game that are really going to be making them think, making sure that they're actually engaging with your social media. Or they're going to be things that are putting you at the center, setting you as the expert, or giving destination information, things like that. So if we go to see a few more posts on the next slide here.
I just want to complain, Christina. I mean, given the little quiz on the right-hand side, really? I'm going to be taking a rental car to Boston with my coworkers? Totally unfair.
Oh man, your summer trip sounds more like a job. So these were the posts that were actually shared the most, which is actually really great to see, because these two really underlined how appreciative people were of being able to have travel advisors at their disposal. So I'll give you kind of a little bit of an idea of what the text was that went along with this post. And so on the left-hand side, it was talking about how travel advisors are there to help you broaden your comfort zone, still keep you within it, but helping you stretch that. And then on the right-hand side, it was talking about how there are so many different moving pieces right now, especially with the different rules as far as COVID. You know, can you go to a location? If you do go to that location, do you need to have a vaccine card? Do you need to have the ability to quarantine for 2 weeks once you get there? There's so much information, it's changing so much. And so on this one, we were talking about how when you have the travel advisor, they are there to stay on top of all that for you. So you just get to relax and be at peace. And so we really like to underline how important travel advisors are and how much confidence they give you and peace of mind when you're using them. And that's clearly something that resonated with all of our clients because they were actually shared the most.
So one of the great things about Passport Online is that they have a base product and they also have a product, I think it's $5 more per month, that allows you to take the content they're curating and then you can customize and personalize it. And that is tip number 3. No matter where you're getting content from, if you are trying to outsource to some different places, like let's say you are a big Norwegian Cruise Line salesperson and you've got tons of great photos from them, guess what? Just posting their picture isn't going to do it. But if there's a picture of a port that you've been to and you can personalize a story on top of that picture of that ship in that port, that's going to be more engaging than just saying Norwegian sails to these, Caribbean destinations. And that's really critical for you, that you figure out what your voice is. Your voice is kind of your brand. Richard's brand is master storyteller. Yes, I work on my client's marketing. I work on my client's business model. I work on my client's, I don't do operations really. Their selling skills. But the voice that you always hear from me consistently across all my platforms is how I tell stories about all of these skills that my clients need so that they can figure out how to do it. That's my brand. What's your brand? Is your brand the adventure travel, guru? That it's not just that broad name, adventure travel, but that you have been the adventurer ever since you were 12 years old, and you'd get on your Schwinn bike and you'd bike off into the, in the summertime, and your parents wouldn't see you until dinner. If you're telling stories like that and people are going, oh my gosh, this is a real adventurer, and now they're an adult and they run this travel company, and that spirit of a child seeking adventure is still there with them today, that could potentially be your brand, and that could potentially help you stand out. So when you're curating all this content, is your voice coming out? You've got to sort of get that in place, because then you can leverage all of these other wonderful resources that are out there for you. So tell us a little bit, Christina, about the ESP product.
Yeah, absolutely. So the few pictures that we were looking at, those were part of the automated posting to Facebook. And we do 90% of the work for you. We have them all in there. You can choose to just set it up and leave it and let it do its thing. But I would really encourage you to take it just a little bit further. And the base product for ESP is $20 a month, but for $5 more, we give you more control to be able to actually edit the posts that go out. So you can spend 30 minutes looking through all of the content we've already created for you, pick a few posts that you know really resonate with your brand, and go in and edit them. Do what Richard was saying, make it a little bit more personalized. Talk about your specific experiences in those destinations that we're talking about, or even in the games. Say what your answer is and ask your clients, let them know you really are curious about theirs, and make sure then you do all of the work of responding. You can't just leave it and just expect it to go. You need to go in and take that little extra effort and respond to anybody who mentions anything. Make sure you're going through and liking it and things like that. Social media is really a conversation, so you need to make sure you're there to answer any questions and make sure you're keeping up your side of the conversation. Now, the other part, oh, sorry, go ahead, Richard.
No, I was going to say absolutely.
And then the other part of ESP that we didn't actually talk about is it is also a library of content to use as well. So not only do we have all of the automated posting that you can do, but we also have a huge library of content from other sources. So we have videos, articles. We also have in-made blog posts that we create, and the past library of posts that have automatically gone out before that you can go through and actually search in and be able to post those to your page as well. So it's such a good resource. If you have a group coming up at a specific destination, you want to make sure you're getting a couple extra posts for that destination, or a couple extra articles, things like that. It's a really good resource for you to use for that as well.
And then what we're hoping you're doing is you're using social to drive it, to your website.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that your website has all the content that your customers are looking for too. So we do have a few different website products just based on, what your technical capabilities are and what you're looking for. So we do have Next Site, which is a complete website solution. That's where we're actually hosting the site for you. We set it up. They're template based, so they're very easy to use. Or for folks that already have a website and really are just looking for the content to be able to plug into it. We also have Vacation Port. So that's meant for people who already have a website. And we do have some solutions as well for those who are a little bit even more advanced technologically. We have a content API that you can connect to as well. But just wanted to throw that out there. And again, I know I already said it once before, but even if you're not using us, which I hope you do, but when you're shopping around there, make sure that whoever you're looking at does give you the options to control it yourself. You want to be able to say, yes, I like this. No, I don't want this to show. So we always have the travel advisor in our minds when we're creating our products. We want to make sure you are centered at it. So any of the content we're showing from our suppliers, all of the contact information is always going to lead back to you. So we're going to want to make sure that you are the one that the customers go through and not specific or directly to the supplier. So that's something that we're always keeping in mind, and make sure whoever you do ultimately decide to go with, that they also have you at the center of it, because that's really what you want to do for your own business, is make sure that you're the ones that are the prime customer.
Excellent advice. If you do want to up your social media skills, we do have a master class. It's a do-it-yourself program. Our storytelling class helps you figure out how to do that personalization and customization. And last year, we launched a consumer webinar class where we teach you soup to nuts. You're coming up with an idea. You want to get in front of people live on Facebook or through a Zoom tool. And because Joni and Andy have been so wonderful giving us this opportunity to speak today, we're going to offer a 25% discount on any of these classes. You can find it at that specific URL, and it'll be up there for several weeks, the special discount. We really are grateful to be able to speak to all of you today. So we put our contact information in case you do want to follow up with either one of us. And with that, we'll hand it back to Joni.
Well, thank you. Wow, that was a fantastic presentation, both of you. I loved it. Loved it. Learned a lot, and it was very succinct, and that is so valuable. I know everybody has some questions, and so I'm going to get to those in a minute. But Richard, I just wanted to ask you. It sounds like you're going on a pretty exciting summer vacation now, and I'm pretty excited too, because it looks like I'm going to go on a cruise ship to Memphis with my mom, who passed away like 30 years ago. So I'm trying to figure
Oh
this one
my,
out. Truly,
It's gonna be a
I
wild
have to
ride.
say though, I have to say, Christina, the thing that was really cool about that is I was engaged. I had to look at that thing and I had to figure it out. And I thought, okay, so I get what you guys are doing, and you are getting people, to pay attention and get involved in something. And I loved it. So I just had to share where I'm going on my summer vacation. So that's. I just haven't figured out what cruise ship is going to Memphis right now, but gotta look at.
American Steamboat.
Should be interesting. That was truly funny. So, anyways, I don't want to take too much time up talking about that, but I just wanted to. I have some questions, and I'm going to go through those. Want everybody to also know that's on the webinar. There is going to be a code that we're going to share. I'll be putting that up in a few minutes in the chat area, which you can see over on the side of your screen, and that's going to be the code to be able to access a discount on those presentations. And thank you so much, Richard. That was very generous of you to do that on behalf of Tom and I and Andy. It really, really was. So thank you. And we really appreciate working with you guys. So it's been a great, great partnership for sure. Okay, first question I'm going to ask is, would you consider selling cruises only as a niche, or should, hold on a second. The presenter, I want you to keep your screen up there, Richard. Do you have it up there
Oh,
still?
okay.
Yeah,
I can go back.
we need to keep that up there if you would.
Sure.
Okay, let me get back to the questions in there. Sorry about that. Okay, so would you consider selling cruises only as a niche, or should you narrow it down to just a few cruise lines? I know what I would answer to that, but I'm going to let you and Richard and Christina take that.
Well, again, it really comes back to what your brand is. I had interviewed a woman. She worked for a very large host agency. Most of her sales leads came in through the host. She really didn't have to do a lot of marketing and work. And believe it or not, this is what she told me. I never checked out her books. I wasn't her accountant. But she said to me, mass market cruises made up like 90% of her income. And I said, but a mass market cruise at a discounted price, I mean, how many of those did you have to do to make a decent salary? And she said she had just gotten so efficient using the booking tools of the mass market cruise lines that having a brand that was that broad worked for her. So for me, but yet my business partner, Myrna, she almost exclusively works with people who are over the age of 55, who want to take 14-day, Region 7 Seas types cruises, crystal cruises. She doesn't really look for consumers in other cruise categories. Two totally different strategies. What you need to understand is whether or not, A, do you enjoy doing that? Myrna loves luxury cruises. She takes them herself with her husband. And this other woman who does the mass market, she has fun on the fun ship. It's really fun for her to be one of the top producers for that particular cruise line. So it really does come down to that passion, and if you can systematize it and scale it.
Okay, so another question I have, well, actually, this is a comment. Christina, you set up an original website several years ago and assisted through many transformations, and it's worked out so well for us. She's basically what she's telling you. And that's Jolene at Brevard Travel Service. So that's a wonderful testimonial. Thank you for that, Jolene.
Hi, Jolene. Thank you.
That's
It's
an
been a
awesome.
pleasure.
I love to read things like that. It just shows you guys how well this works. Let me see. I've got another comment here. Then we'll get to our prize giveaway. I have the Next Site program. Which ESP program do I have included? This is from Beverly.
Beverly, thank you for asking. So Nextsite and ESP are two different programs. So if you have one of our website products, The ESP social media product is separate. So we can definitely reach out and make sure we get you some pricing information and see if you're interested in it and figure something out for you to get you using ESP as well.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Christina. Well, all right. So I think we're ready to get to the questions, if that's good with you guys. So we have a question that we're going to ask, and I have the answer to that question. I'm going to let you guys jot down your answers to the question in the column that you see on the right where you see questions. And I'm going to take the 5th correct answer, and I know you're all going to probably get this correct, but I can only take one. And that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful prize of a class that Richard is going to be performing on July 14th and 21st, and you're getting it for absolutely free. It's $147 value, so it's so very generous, and I know it's going to be such a great presentation. So here we go. Are you guys ready? And oh, just one other thing I want to mention to you guys. This has been recorded. We do record our webinars. They always are available to you after the webinar is over with, and you can view those. It usually takes a couple hours for us to get it all up and at them on our sites, but they'll be available at travelprofessionalnews.com. So you just feel free to check on. You might want to watch this again. There were some great stats shared and some really good slides that you might want to make screenshots of that I thought were very, very valuable. So hopefully that will work. And so we'll go ahead and do the question now. Okay, so ready. What percent of travel advisors surveyed by Travel Business Mastermind said that their content delivered the most engagement? Ready, set, go.
See who was paying attention.
I know. Okay.
I'm so excited for whoever's going to win this. I'm a little bit jealous.
Well, our person that is going to win this is going to be, first of all, I'll tell you what the answer is. The answer is 30, but I already have a winner, so don't put it in now. It won't matter. Our winner is Teresa Caldwell. Teresa, congratulations. What a great prize. We will be reaching out to you. I'll send your information to Richard so he'll know your email and information, and then we'll go ahead and he'll get in touch with you regarding the rest of that. So congratulations on that, Teresa. So what a wonderful presentation. Thank you both so much. Thank you, everybody, for being on here today and paying such close attention to tremendous data that was shared and information. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. It's only 115 degrees where I am in Arizona, so hopefully you're a little bit. I know it's scary out here. But it's a dry heat. I hope you guys are all staying cool. So wherever you are, and having a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week and a great summer so far. So thank you, Richard. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Joni.
So appreciate having you guys here. What a great presentation. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Christina.
Bye.